match. Can you give us the data?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think it's the same old line, which is that sort of medical is ongoing with the two players, just making sure that we're, again, looking after them as well as possible, knowing that we had two important games this window, one left, but also the Euros upcoming, so just making sure that we're doing everything right for those players.
That was a precaution. Obviously, Maisie did look in some distress. Is there an element that you're worried?
I think whenever you see a player go down like that, you're concerned, and our fingers are crossed for healing and quick healing. But equally, this is a young player, and we'll do whatever we can to make sure she's being looked after appropriately.
Just at this stage, you're not ruling anyone out.
At this stage, I'm not ruling anyone out.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Are you ruling in then Sophie Ingle, because she was back training as planned today?
Yeah.
It was great for everyone.
Yeah.
How's it looking?
Great. Soph is ahead of schedule, what is schedule with an ACL? It's how a player's feeling, how confident they are in their knee. She's feeling good. It's great to have her back in the environment. Yes, on the field, but equally off the field, just back with the group, with her teammates. It's nice.
She's got a big goal to reach that tournament. What does she have to do in this process now? Because she's obviously not going to be involved against Italy. You assume she's not going to be involved against Italy.
Yeah.
What does she need to do?
I think everything she's doing right now, which is she's working really hard. She's at Chelsea right now, training and in a good environment. Equally, we have camps coming up with Wales that she'll be a part of. We've got a really great environment in the next few weeks to make sure the players are as ready as possible. And I'll reiterate, every knee injury is different and unique to the player, and I think she's getting great support at club, but equally here with Wales. And so what she has to do is keep doing what she's doing. And I think the most important thing is we all know the timeline, but it's not to try and get too far ahead of it. It is how we still have really over 3 weeks before the first game. So that is a long time in recovery. And so how do we make sure that those 3 weeks are being utilized as best possible? And part of that is not pushing it.
There is a game tomorrow.
There is.
Aside from the injury news. Your reflections now on Friday, you've had a chance to sort of properly review it.
Yeah.
Those frustrations are probably still there.
They're obvious. I think it's right for us to question at this level for that not to be seen with one technology or another, or just with eyes. I think I felt a little bit frustrated that the information I was being given on the sideline was maybe not correct, but equally we had to win, so that would have definitely changed the flow of the game. I think going ahead 1-0, and that's hard not to let yourself think of that, but we had enough time to score again, and that's what we didn't do, and so that's what we'll focus on. I think there was a lot of really good takeaways from the game, but the biggest one we walk away with is a bit of frustration, because we're getting so close now. I don't want to be a team that just gets close, and I don't think they are either. So how far the team has come in a year is remarkable. That it's not good enough to get close. We're banging on the door, and hopefully we're going to open one.
With that frustration in mind, how do you approach this game against Italy? Because in terms of the table, everything's done. You know you're going to be playing League B, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Does it mean that you experiment a little bit more, give players that have to answer some questions, more chances, or do you want to use that frustration to just get that win that you've been knocking on the door about?
Nothing will change. This is not a throwaway game in any sense of it. Like, this is the team, the players, they've all had opportunities to show. I'm very clear on the team. I think the best part of this group is that at any time, any player can step on and deliver a performance, which we've seen. And Italy is the next opportunity for us to show our quality, and that is not down to 11 players, but 23. So whatever lineup I have to start won't be the one that finishes the game, and we're looking forward to putting on a good performance in Swansea.
Happy birthday, Edward Pappas.
Thank you.
As a treat, you've come to face us.
I know, what a gift.
What a gift indeed.
You're welcome.
What have your teammates done for your birthday?
Just try to embarrass me, really. Sing me happy birthday, give me some gifts, hopefully cake tonight. We'll see, yeah.
You have to check with her again. Look, it's been an important camp, hasn't it? Because we all know, we've been talking about it, the Euros are so close, but you have got other games to focus on first, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. We'd be lying if we said it wasn't in the back of our mind, but you know the focus has been very clear this campaign that you know we're focused on the games ahead and not the Euros. Yeah, we're trying to push for our first win in the group, and that's the sole focus for now.
In terms of you personally, I bet you're itching to make your statement.
Yeah, 100%. Just try and stay ready for any opportunity that comes. The good thing is that we have a very competitive group. My job is to try and make Rhian's job more difficult with team selection and subs and all that stuff. But yeah, just try and stay ready and make the most of minutes that I get.
In terms of Sophie being back among the rest of the team, stretching her legs, how good was it to see that?
Yeah, it's nice. She's obviously such a core part of our group. So well respected, such a great leader. It's great to have her back in whatever capacity, and it's great to see her, you know, smiling and kicking the ball, and she barely looks that rusty, so puts us to shame a bit. But yeah, no, I'm happy to see her back out there.
Yeah, because she's been such a stalwart for this team, for this nation over the years, and so imagine just being around the camp is a lift for everyone.
Yeah, 100%. I grew up a Chelsea fan, so I look up to players like Soph, and such an honour to be on camp with her and try and learn from her. So, yeah, we're all very happy she's here, and hopefully she can kick on.
And we've also had a bit of a boost from some caffeine in the van outside. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, Haz and her partner have a coffee business, and it was great that they got to come today, the van, and yeah, we got some coffees, and keeps us going on camp. We all love our coffee, so yeah, it was very nice.
Did you get friends and family discount?
We did, a little one, so hopefully, and since my birthday I tried to get another free one, so yeah.
I hope it paid off. Thanks very much, best of luck to you.
Hey Rhian,
Hi.
can I just pick up with Sophie? I think when you and I spoke 10, 12 days ago, you really all said it's 50-50, ACL injuries are, sometimes up one rung, down two, targets got to be met. What has kind of maybe happened in the last 2 weeks that a very visible sign that she's on track and back with the squad that she was today?
Yeah. Well, media asked me to put a percentage on it, and so I said 50-50 because she hadn't been in sessions yet. I know, media, just someone. So, which everyone I saw writing down on the paper, I was like, oh gosh. So then I called Sophie, I'm like, listen, it's gonna come out 50-50. And what I meant by that was she wasn't in our environment, and she'd been out for a long time. So I knew she was training well, I knew things were progressing well, but until she's back with the team, until we've had our medical team across it, it's impossible to really be asked to put a percentage on it, right? Soph is in a really great space. She's training hard. She doesn't feel like she's overextending herself, which I think is really important. And I'm trying to be clear about that because I do think sometimes our players are put in stressful situations to rush back from major injury, and then we see reoccurrence, and that's where I'm trying, and Sophie is well aware that we want to do this properly. It's very obvious we want her with us in Switzerland. Everything is tracking that way, but she will not be rushed or pushed. And I think that's where I'm very grateful for the medical staff with club and with Wales, who are all on the same page. They communicate regularly, and it was really great to see her back with the team, but equally just back playing, as she was partially on the sideline, but equally back with us for big chunks of the session, which is great to see.
Brett, what do you think it's doing for Sophie? She's one of the most experienced players out there, domestically and internationally. But the mere fact, just a thing like that, she can be out there today, knowing that we can all see her and that everyone's talking about her. Yeah. What do you think that's mentally doing for her, even with all her vast experience?
Any injury is a lonely place to be. You're actually training harder than most players. You're in first, you're in the medical room, you're doing your fitness. A lot of it's done on your own. And it's mentally as tough as it is physically. And I think there's the surgery, and then there's the slow weeks that come after a surgery where you're not able to do very much. And then there's the small little gains you start getting. And one of the big gains is not just back on the field with the ball, but back with your teammates. And that's she's done that at club, but then to be able to do it with country, and equally when the sun is out, makes it we had a day the other day that would have been less enjoyable. But it's just one of these milestones that are such a boost. And I know you can see it in her that this was a big moment.
Just because, she is such a high-profile player, one more question about her. What has to happen for you to be in a position, because again, it's really obvious with the interview you did a fortnight ago and today now, obviously want her to be with her.
Yeah.
What has to kind of go right, knowing that there can be setbacks? What has to go right that on the morning of the 19th of June, you're in a position to select her?
She's tracking right now, because what the most important thing will be is she able to play? And that's not 90 minutes, is she able to contribute? And she's aware these are going to be conversations coming up to the tournament, but the details of what goes around that, and it sounds like I'm being specific, it's more global, but she's aware, and I think she's doing everything she needs to do to be coming to Switzerland with us.
Just with this final game now in the Nations League, from everything you've seen on performances and getting ready for that first group game, apart from the results, which have been close, it's been one goal. Are you all progressing as you wanted to when you did all your prep before the Nations League started, and we talked to you then about what you wanted to get out of the Nations League? Are you on course?
I think I would have thought we'd have gotten a win by now. And I'm happy that we're seeing stuff like that. I think as a team, we've always talked about performance. Results can go your way, and some days they don't. So results, there is a little bit of, you can have a great game and still lose sometimes in football. But consistent performances are really important for me. And in that, I've been really impressed with this group. In that way, I think they're actually ahead of where I thought. But I did think we would have managed to just get one of the games over the line. We have very specific markers of what we're measuring and how we want to be as a team. And those we're being consistent in. But we do know that you got to score goals. And that's been a focus for us. We're not going to get as many opportunities as other nations sometimes in front of the net. And so we've got to make sure that we make every one of them count. And we're close, but close isn't good enough anymore. And we want to push our standards. I think that's a pretty common theme with the team, that we're open about it. It's not to critique for critique's sake. It's to make sure that we're never just happy being close. That's not who we want to be. And I actually love that of the team. And so in some ways, I think we're ahead of where I thought we'd be. And in other ways, I think I had predicted we would have had a win by now.
Maybe a question for both of you, perhaps on tomorrow night, with what you just said there. There's pressure in anything you do, but it kind of feels like tomorrow, with what you want from the team, you want that result, you want that performance, you want players pushing to make sure they're in selection.
Yeah.
Have you kind of almost like tomorrow is almost like a mini Euros game, with everything that all the things you want to get on for it, the pressure that's on that game as well?
Each of these games has been a mini Euros game, and we've talked about it like that. Each of these games has been a real challenge. First, a top nation we're playing, but equally, is it a home game, away game? They all give you different challenges. And we'd be foolish, I think, not to think that this is another opportunity for us to hone our skills, our tactics, our players, one last time with a meaningful international at home. Would you agree?
Yep, and at the same time, we've got nothing to lose. Like, our fate's sealed in the group. It's our last send-off before the tournament, so there's pressure, but in other aspects, we can go out and hopefully play with freedom and find that little missing bit that we've been lacking in the final third, and put on a good show for the crowd. So, yeah.
Quick happy birthday from me.
Thank you.
To you.
Thank you.
On today. Just, Lois, how close do you think as players? I badger Rhian all the time, but how close do you feel you are now to this marquee win? Because you kind of feel you're so close, and that missing ingredient, whatever you want to call it, but as players, how close do you feel you are?
Yeah, I think we echo Rhian's thoughts and feelings. We think we're so close, and it's just fine-tuning stuff. And we've said it a few times after games now, so it's hard not to get a bit frustrated. But we just have to keep chipping away, and we know we're so close. Like you said, it's only been a goal in each game, really. So yeah, we just have to find ways to win a bit better, maybe manage momentum a bit better at times. But overall, we're improving and we have the ball in places that we want to have it, and we just have to put it in the back of the net now.
Just got the last one for me about Sophie picking up and saying the Chelsea fan. What kind of inspiration has she been to you, and perhaps to some of the other girls and women that have taken up the sport, because there's so much focus on the lionesses, whatever.
Yeah.
Sophie is one of the greats of UK football.
100%. I think Sophie's even underrated a little bit. She's such a great footballer, such a lovely teammate to have. I was in Chelsea youth groups when I was younger, so anytime I got to be around the first team, I was obviously, so excited, and she's always been such a great, role model on and off the pitch, and she's done amazing things for Wales, and she deserves her flowers, really.
Sure. Rhian, Ian Richardson has come into camp. It can sometimes be quite difficult with very young players coming to a camp of such high status as well. But how is she settling? How she look?
Yeah, again, I think a huge credit to the FAW that since I came in, they've allowed me to bring in 3 training players. So Amy's already been into a camp before, which is fantastic, because when you do have to bring someone in last minute, she's already been in, she knows the players. We also have a group of young players. They like to spend time together. They're a little posse, which is great. I mean, this is nice to see, and it also means that when someone does get sort of called in, it's not new to them. There's enough stress and pressure, obviously, being called in like that, but the environment itself isn't the pressure. So she's jumped straight in, and she's been great.
What do you expect from Italy tomorrow? Because obviously you played in the first game. Since then, they've got a big win over Denmark, and draw against Sweden or fight with them. They feel like a team that are really trending in another direction.
They have been for a while. I really think they're fantastic. I think their coach has done a great job with them. They're very clear on how they play. They change up their tactics. I think their players are really exciting. And that's sort of what we've said as a team. Like, we need to play the best to be the best. I think, Pernille Harder, fantastic player for Denmark. We're aware of her, but equally, she's another player. Same for the Italians. They've got a couple players who are, I think, really strong on the ball. And we mention them, we're aware of them, and then we play Wales, as in we do what we do. And I think our tactics are there to minimize their strengths and highlight our strengths. That's my job. But I do really enjoy how Italy plays, and I think they'll be a really great last test for us as a team as we prepare for another 3 top nations coming up in the Euros.
Lois, this one from me to you. Yesterday, you and the whole squad were at the football event that was in Pontypridd. It was great to see the whole squad down there, but how do you enjoy the day, and just how inspiring was it to see so many young children just there enjoying football and meeting people?
Yeah, we had great fun. Credit to the players and the staff who organised the festival. I think it's important for us to do things like that because we want to show young girls that we care about connecting with them. We also want to inspire the next generation. That's a big part of why we play and what it means to play for Wales. And it was great to meet some faces. Hopefully they end up playing, for us in the future. So yeah.
Yeah, can I just say, Beth Ann Woolley, who was head of grassroots and is now sort of taking the lead in this women and girls space, she put that event on. The players asked for it. I think that's important to say. Amazing that they want to do that in the last camp, but what a cool event to see so many new young girls to football. Many of them, it was their first experience. They were getting a gift bag with a football, anything they'd need now to go play in the park. And that's the kind of stuff that really leaves the biggest impact. And for me, I was standing with the parents. It was a powerful day. And big thanks to her, but equally to the players who, on their time off, chose to do that, which I think was lovely to see as a coach.
Right, Lois, I'm going to take you back in time.
Yeah.
Not too far. Back to last event, you got your first call out.
Yeah.
And you said, quote, greatest achievement in sport so far. And you said, hopefully the next achievement will be playing for Wales and helping them to get to a first major tournament. Now you've done that. I just want to reflect, for you to reflect over the last year and how you felt that the squad's welcomed you in and the culture that brings with it as well.
Yeah, it's always daunting coming into a new setup, but especially, senior national team, like international football. But I haven't looked back since I made that decision. I'm so proud and honoured to be able to wear this badge. And yeah, it's been a crazy year. Like, what a time to join, really. But
It's not like this all the time.
I know, like, yeah, credit to the girls and all the work they'd done before I got there, and yeah, it's been amazing to be a part of, and the girls have welcomed me, after a bit of banter the first few camps. They've accepted me now, and yeah, I'm so happy to be here, so yeah.
Well, when we talk about banter, go on, give us a little insight.
I mean, my accent doesn't help,
Have you heard Jess Fishlocks though? I mean, that's a...
It's morphing, Jess Fisher.
I'm not going to say anything about Jess's accent, it's perfect, yeah. I'll just focus on my
Smart. Here we
own
go.
one. Yeah.
And I guess as well for you, you're in that kind of, middle-aged bracket as well. You've got that kind of age lot above you, not going to say older lot. But can you understand why this has meant so much for them? And what lessons have you learned of being in a Welsh environment from those players as well?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I can fully understand what they, I can kind of understand, but they've done it and they've had to fight for so much change and so much progression, and, what they've done is amazing and it's so inspiring. Yeah, and what have I learnt from them? Like, true passion, family, taking care of everyone, fighting for the badge, playing with honour, just lots of stuff. Yeah, they wear with the badge with such pride, and it's great to see.
Yeah, and we know, from previous conversations with them that there is a different vibe with Wales. But can you explain, coming in, only in the last year, can you explain how that feels and what that looks like to you as well?
Yeah, it's hard to describe. It's just sort of a feeling, and yeah, it's just such passion and like this underdog mentality and this family, and it's great to be a part of. My grandma was born in Barry, been to Barry a few times, and yeah, I'm so proud to be able to honour that side of my family, and they love it too. Yeah, it's just really hard to describe, really. It's something that you feel, I think, more
well,
than...
you are really Gavin and Stacey. I don't know if you're too young to what the Barry and the London relationship, but how did your family feel like that as well, especially because we've spoken about the route, with Rhian herself and everything. How important is that for you and your family and, the Euros going forward? Oh,
it's massive. Like, my auntie on that side, so happy. My grandma, she passed away just before, but I know she'd be like so, ecstatic that I'm part of that and I get to represent Wales and be a part of the journey, and yeah, it's a great honour.
And just going back to football things, we talk about fine margins in League, League A, is that right?
For the moment.
In Nations League A, and obviously going to the Euros, there's going to be fine margins again. Are you kind of sick of that word as a group a little bit? Because it's been one of those ones where it's kind of been described as that. Yeah,
probably a little bit, because we just want to get, our first win and do it, and it's so close. It's a bit frustrating, but there's no better prep for the Euros than to play these teams, and it's still such a positive that we're competing and we're there, but now we want more, and we don't just want to be a passenger. So yeah, it is frustrating, but we also there's a path forward, there's a step forward, and we can see that.
And going back to that first match in Italy, I mean, I'm not putting words in your mouth, but it was that first opening in 10-15, it looked a bit, oh my goodness, And I'm just thinking as a group and as you as an individual, how much have you learned in these games over the past few months compared to maybe them meeting them again tomorrow?
Yeah, that's definitely been a bit of a focus, how we start games, It's almost like we relaxed once a goal goes in, and then we play really well, and we can't afford to do that against bigger teams, and so that's been a focus, just trying to come out the blocks ready to go, stick to the game plan and really execute that in the first 30 minutes, because if we play how we do in the last 30 minutes of the game, we'd be in a much better position, so...
Last question for me, it is your birthday, so I'm just wondering, what would a 10-year-old Lois looking at you now to think about what you've achieved and where you could be going in the next couple of months? Yeah, crazy. I don't think, younger me would have expected it. I'm so excited for the future with Wales, and I'm so happy I'm here, and yeah, good birthday. Great birthday.